Hi, Chuck Huber here for the Stata YouTube channel. I'd like to show you how to use marginsplot to graph interactions between two categorical variables. So if you haven't watched the other marginsplot videos, you might want to watch those before continuing with this one. So let's open some example data by clicking File here at the top left, scrolling down to Example Datasets, and let's select Stata 12 Manual Datasets, Base Reference Manual Datasets, and then we're going to scroll down to marginsplot. And we're going to be using the NHANES2 data again, so click Use, and that will open this from across the web. And I'm going to start by fitting a linear model here. So let's click Statistics, Linear Models and Related, and go to Linear Regression. And for our dependent variable, we're going to be using systolic blood pressure again, so let's select BP systol for our dependent variable. And for our independent variables, we're going to be using factor variables. So let's use the three-dot box over here again. And we're going to be using factor variables for the terms. I'd like to do a two-way full factorial model. So I want two categorical variables with the interaction term included. This is sometimes known as a two-way analysis of variance. Anyway, so let's select age group as our first variable. And for the base category, let's just use the default. And then for the second variable, let's select sex, and again do the default. Click Add to var list, and we can see that our interaction term has been included here at the bottom. So click OK, and then we can click OK again. So our regress command includes this fully factorial interaction between these two factor variables. We could have the I dot in front of them, but it's not necessary when we use the pound sign between them. Okay, so in our output, we've estimated coefficients for the main effects for age here, and then we also have the main effect for sex in the middle, and then we have our age by sex interaction terms here towards the bottom, and of course our intercept or constant here at the bottom. Now, a lot of times after we fit linear models, we'd like to compute predictions from our model. So let's do that with the margins command. So go back to Statistics and scroll down to Post Estimation, and select marginal means and predictive margins. Click that. Now, this time I'm going to select factor terms to compute margins for. I'm going to select age group by sex, just the interaction term there. And then I'm just going to click OK. And Stata then that dialog box will issue the command margins age group by sex interaction. And it will actually show us the predicted margins for every possible combination of age group and sex. So the output here is shown as age group on the left and sex is on the right. So the top row here is 1-1. That's the 20 to 29-year-old group for males. The next row would be the 20 to 29-year-old females, and then 30 to 39-year-old males and so forth. And we can see their predicted systolic blood pressure from our model. Now, we might actually like to graph these. This is a nice table, but sometimes graphs look nice as well. So let's go back to Statistics, scroll down to Post Estimation, and let's select Margins, Plots, and Profile Plots. Click there. And now, in the Main tab, for variables that define the x-axis, let's click on that box here and just select age group. Don't select sex, just select age group. And now we can click Submit, and Stata actually graphs our predictions for us by males and females. So we have the age groups across the horizontal axis, the linear predictions across the vertical axis, and we have two separate lines, along with the confidence intervals for each of the predictions. Now, as I mentioned in the other video, when you're doing these plots for categorical variables, the lines seem to give the impression that age is treated as continuous when it's not. So if you want to emphasize the fact that these are categories of age and not age treated as continuous, we can go over to Plot, and instead of doing Connected, we can actually select Scatter, and then click Submit again. And that will remove the lines that connect them. So that emphasizes the fact that these are actually categories. And then some people like to transpose these graphs, the horizontal axis with the vertical axis. So we can close this. If we go back to the Main tab, we can check this box here that says swap the x and y axes. So check that box. Click OK. And now we have the linear predictions across the horizontal axis, and the age groups are displayed on the vertical axis. And then you can see each of the predictions along with their confidence intervals, 95% confidence intervals, in the graph here. Some people like to refer to these as TIE fighter graphs if you're a Star Wars fan. Okay, so that's how we do margins plot with two categorical variables that includes an interaction term. So I hope this was helpful. Thanks for stopping by.